In this series of videos, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to make a torso foundation. The torso foundation is in addition to your basic sloper set, and it is a combination of both the bodice and the skirt pattern, like I have demonstrated or showing you here, of your sloper set, combining those into one so you have a sloper set or a sloper piece that allows you to work from that one for designs where you do not have a waistline seam. It extends the top into the skirt for designs that go all the way through. This is in chapter 18 of your textbook. Page 385 is where we will begin with this demonstration. All right, for our front torso, you will need a long enough sheet of paper so that you have the first 9 inches of the skirt space and then space for your bodice. Now I'm going to try and turn my camera there so that we can see this a little bit. And the demonstration I'm going to show you is going to be a little bit different than what the book has, because the book is starting with the single dart bodice sloper. So let me show you that again too. All right, so the book is starting off here. I'm going to show you, and what it does is transfer half of this dart up to the shoulder for a period of time so that you can do the other manipulations, and then eventually you transfer that to the side seam. But since your sloper you received already has the side dart there, we're going to work with that. All right, so steps starting with figure 2 on page 386 for the front. So along the far right hand side of my piece of paper, I strike a long line. I need to square off a line on the lower end of that. This is going to be my hip measurement or hip position. I would take a measurement of my hip distance right here for the front arc, which I've already done, so it is 8 7/8. So I need 8 7/8 across the bottom here, but then I need to add 1/2 inch of ease. So I will slide my ruler over another 1/2 inch, and then this is where I make my mark, and this becomes point B if you're following along doing your diagram. From B up to the waistline, which has been struck across here, that is position D. The waist distance or waist depth, waist to hip, double check on your pattern, but mine is 9 inches. So from there I'm going to square up a line to my waistline. And so the distance from D to C should also equal A to B, because I'm basically making a rectangle there. All right, now moving along to place the front bodice. I'm starting with the corner right down here lined up at D, the front edge along here, and now what I am going to do is trace off around my neck, across my shoulder, down my arm curve. Make sure you indicate your notch over to the underarm, coming to this top dart leg for my side dart. Now I am going to make a slight pivot adjustment because I want to get this point up to this line. Remember, your pivot point is the bust point, so I will secure my pattern at the bust point, pivoting, not the paper, just the pattern. There we go. Pivoting the pattern up. Now I can finish drawing my side seam, which I'm just going to do in dotted lines because that's not going to be the permanent one. And a dart leg. Go ahead and indicate that dart point. Indicate your bust point as well. And we can remove that. From C, we want to place a new point 3/4 of an inch in. All right, so 3/4 of an inch. This will be my new point that I'm actually going to true up my side seam from the dart leg down to that point, and then with my hip curve I am going to kind of position it where I like the looks of it, Again, after testing something like this out with a muslin, I might find I need to fine-tune that curve, but we can begin with that. Now, we need to position some guidelines to be able to draw in our dart, two double-ended darts. And this leads into page 388 for that. So first we will square a line down from the bust point, and we need it to end 3 inches below our waist. So this one is my bust point, and I'm looking through my graphing ruler, making sure I am squared off from my bust point on down, and right down here 3 inches is actually where I really needed to end that line. But I'm going to go ahead and square off a guideline for it, because I'm going to strike another line 1 3/4 inches over from this one. So again, I'm using my graphing ruler to my advantage, laying it right on this line 1 3 inches over, so that my next line struck is parallel to that line. All right, now the dart take up at the waist is 1/4 inch on either side. These are my center of my darts, the fold line. So on either side of that, I'm taking up 1/4 inch. And so that, let's see, and from my bust point up here, I need to square a line 1 inch below the bust point. So now these become my dart legs. Remember, the double-ended dart kind of looks like a diamond, but not necessarily a symmetrical diamond. See, the waist is a little bit further away from the bust, closer to the points at the hips. And then I will also finish drawing out my side dart legs as well. Okay, remember to circle your punch holes. I have my bust point. I'll still punch a hole through when I transfer this to a harder paper or poster board, but I don't want it circled because I don't want it actually being a punched hole in fabric in the garment. These need to be for markings. So you can see we have our hip level. This is our waist level. This is our bust point. Okay, center front, side dart, notches, all the top piece. You can staple this onto poster board or a harder piece of paper if you want to keep a good stencil for it, as much as I've done here on our oak tag. So still reflecting that, make sure you give the notation so you remember what size it is in the piece. Grain line parallel to center front. I did indicate my waist, drew my circles for my punch holes. Remember, when doing these darts, to keep a accurate dart, you really only need to draw the legs when tracing it off and the punch hole for the dart point. You don't really need to cut it all the way in. And then the bottom edge is my hip level. All right. Good luck making one for yourself. In the next video, you'll see how to draft the back torso.